Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Thank you so much for joining this webinar, Sitecore the Composable Future, How to Do More with Less. So before we get started, I wanted to go through a bit of housekeeping. On the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see the Q&A section where you can submit questions to us so that we can address them at the end or in follow-ups. So let me first introduce ourselves. I'm Jimmy, and I'm an account manager here at ClerksWell, and I'm accompanied by Liv, a fellow account manager, and Joe, our CTO, Chief Technical Officer. So a little bit of information about us. ClerksWell is an award-winning digital agency with a London HQ, characterized by 20 plus years of experience. We are Sitecore partners, as well as a Microsoft Gold partner. We build dynamic and high-performance websites and offer hosting of our websites on Azure. These tools and our technical experts help bring websites to new heights.
So as you can see, we work with a broad range of public and private organisations across multiple sectors, such as finance, construction, education, legal, and many more. Some of our clients, such as the CIPD, have been working with us for over 20 years. So why are we doing this webinar? So Sitecore have released some new strategies, some major changes, and we want to help our clients and new clients execute these. And this will ensure that their websites run smoothly with high levels of security and performance. So Sitecore's new direction is all about composable, but organisations might struggle to understand why, when, and how to invest in this technological shift. And especially as we enter kind of a difficult economic period, we want to make sure that organisations know how to do more with less, and that can be less budget, less resources, less technical knowledge because of the kind of uncertainty and economic period that we're entering. So that's why we're doing the webinar. So for this session, we've designed an agenda that for some of you might act as a blueprint for action, while for others it might just be a helpful reminder of those innovations that Sitecore brought out. So firstly, we'll explain what composable means, its main characteristics and essential features. Then we'll move on to underline the benefits of a composable web stack. We'll share the different barriers to adoption of a composable web stack for organisations, how the situation can be remedied, and once again, what this means, and explain the updated strategy being put forward by Sitecore. We'll provide you with ClerksWell's 8 top tips on how to best construct your strategy for next year and share some advice to avoid the usual headaches. Finally, we'll end the session with a Q&A led by our CTO, Joe, to dig deeper and address any technical questions you might have regarding composable projects or Sitecore itself.
So, the future is composable. What does this mean? So to have a precise view of what composable means and fully grasp its complexities, it is important to go to the root of this concept and the people in charge of developing it. Dave O. Flanagan, Sitecore's Chief Product Officer, defines the composable era by saying, "We believe in a future where brands can assemble a stack as unique as their customers and business." So before was the monolithic era, characterized by a one-place-do-it-all approach, instead of curating a system that was personalized to your organization's needs. It appeared easier to buy a new monolithic system rather than share components in a new architecture, with digital stacks being increasingly fragmented. Now, Sitecore's new SaaS DXP, Digital Experience Platform, is built from a composable architecture, which means you can carefully curate your digital marketing suite to use the best products to support your content, commerce, and experience management. Through APIs, organizations can now switch in and out products as their business grows. This microservice approach to marketing will mean your technological stack can be as agile as the market. This will be best explained through Sitecore's 3 clouds: the Engagement Cloud, the Commerce Cloud, and the Content Cloud. The Engagement Cloud revolves around experience and personalization. This environment introduces marketing automation, testing, and customer data platform. This is concretely translated through sending and personalizing tools. The Commerce Cloud is characterized by its discovery capacities and the ability to order through cloud technologies. These are illustrated by product discovery and B2X commerce tools. And finally, the Content Cloud can be defined by its agile nature, designed to be a high-performing enterprise CMS, offering search capacities as well as content operations and digital asset management tools. All of these elements translate into XM Cloud and various content and operations hubs. So this leads to questioning the role and nature of specific components and aspects related to these new technological architectures, namely understanding what XM Cloud is and what it represents for the composable era of Sitecore. So it's considered as the modern SaaS CMS, and XM Cloud offers flexible visual editing capacities and more agile development tools for technical leads. Personalization is heavily integrated, relying on real-time analytics, optimizing user experience, and promoting relevant content depending on target audiences. So to recap all of this, XM Cloud constitutes an end-to-end SaaS-based solution directed towards optimized customer experience through enhanced technical structures, meaning it manages the backend in one place, allowing organizations to manage multiple front-end applications, such as a website, an app, or billboard, and etc. And the list goes on, basically. So what are the benefits of a composable Sitecore web stack? There are many benefits to a composable Sitecore web stack, and we'll briefly take you through them now. The overall goal throughout the strategy is to exceed customer expectations of tomorrow by meeting their needs today. So leveraging the best of class tools to provide superior customer experience. The most important part of this strategy is that composable means finding the best tool for the job versus one tool that tries to do it all. The better your web stack, you're going to see a better performing website, improved user experience, which in turn creates brand loyalty. We know for some organizations, it can seem like a long step from improved technology to getting closer with customers, but ClerksWell have seen firsthand the impact an effective system can have on user experience and therefore sales and customer retention. Also, as this is the strategy being adopted by big technology companies, organizations will have to eventually get on board to compete. Flexibility is the second most important benefit from a composable Sitecore web stack. Businesses can pick tools that match their needs at one point in time and make their stack evolve through time as needs change. So there is the ability to adjust without having to completely rebuild. And this flexibility will allow you to invest as you grow and build your stack to fit your business. Cost reduction. So in a recession, the ability to cut costs in places is a big win. And with Composable, you can make savings in Azure due to the reduction in resources required when you switch out unused products. And once again, the list goes on. You'll have more during our top tips. Less intensive upgrades and quicker development cycles. So once on XM, upgrades are less of a jump, and Sitecore themselves will make it easier to upgrade on the composable path than on the monolithic. And again, we see how following Sitecore direction is key for long-term growth and cost savings.
Thanks, Jimmy. So now we've talked about some of the benefits. We wanted to touch on the barriers, which are kind of meaning that organizations are less keen to go for this approach. So many of Sitecore's customers are kind of confused to why this has been suggested by Sitecore and why they should be going for it. So Jimmy's explained some of the benefits, but what we're seeing with some of our clients is that there's a lack of a bridge between the technical experts in their organization and those operating in the business or marketing teams. So it's hard to explain what the benefits will be for the actual end users. So one thing we want to get across is that it's important to consider that the technological change is just the first domino in a series of business improvements, such as cost saving and brand loyalty, as Jimmy has touched on. But yeah, as I've just mentioned, it's sometimes hard to connect those dots, and we want to help you to communicate that to your organization. Another barrier that we're seeing amongst our client base is they don't know how to make this change. So a potential issue regarding adoption of Composable is that there's not a clear roadmap. There's also a lack of effective case studies because it is such a new strategy, and this is can be detrimental because it stops motivation, because those higher up in the business that are making the decision don't know what the long-term benefit of this change is going to be. But what we're seeing is that there is a definite benefit of this approach, and we will start to build case studies as an agency that we can help put forward to your business and help convince those stakeholders. And all of these kind of benefits are suggesting that people should shift from XP to XM Cloud and then build their stack as they see fit. So yeah, Sitecore is a very trustworthy platform, and any examples that they start bringing forward should definitely be trusted and seen in good faith. And we'll explore some of our top tips in a moment so that you can get on board with the strategy too. The kind of last barrier that I want to touch on is that organisations might not know when is a good time to operate this change. So we're seeing a lot in our client base that the best time to operate a change like this is when you're already going for a rebuild or an upgrade, and you can consider shifting to XM whilst you're upgrading up the platform, up the versions of Sitecore, sorry. So yeah, make sure you try where best to tie it in with another major project that you're doing, because that will save on costs, and it will also help convince stakeholders that it's part of a kind of bigger solution and bigger strategy. Okay, so now that I've explained some of the barriers, I want to go into our 8 top tips to overcome these barriers and get your strategy moving. So firstly, probably the most important is make sure you get stakeholder buy-in early. So you need to collate all the relevant information. That might be from webinars, from industry reports, so that you can give them a really comprehensive list of reasons why you as a marketing team or IT team want to go ahead with this strategy. So make it really easy for them to get on board. Secondly, as a business, you need to determine where you want to be in the future. So that might be considering how many websites you want to have, what your marketing campaign strategy is going to be. Are you going to have apps? Are you going to have personalization? So we've got a long list of things that you need to consider, which we're happy to share after the webinar. But yeah, make sure that you consider all the things in your marketing stack that go into this composable strategy so that it fits with all those elements. Thirdly, make sure you seek a trusted Sitecore partner who can help you design that all-important roadmap. So each composable strategy will be unique to each website. So don't just go along with what your mate in another company's IT department's doing. Make sure you talk to an agency that can help you personalize it to your needs. Next, make sure you talk to Sitecore. They're very helpful. They'll make sure that you're considering the right products in your stack. Next thing, I've kind of touched on it a little bit already. So composability is not just for websites, it's for your entire IT business operations. So you can consider it for other aspects of your IT strategy. And if you are, then it will be much easier to sell internally. Next, make sure you're organized and plan for composability. So have you got the right resources internally? If you don't, you need to seek that agency help. Have you got budget? How much budget do you have? If it's low, then that's fine. You can just start with moving to XM, maybe one extra product. The beauty of composability is that it's very flexible, and so it does cater for lower budgets as well. Get estimates from your agency so that you know how much budget you are going to need, and they can help you then put that roadmap together. Next, try to be flexible. So the beauty of composability is that you can build as you grow. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So integrate the products that make the most sense for now. Of course, you have to consider your long-term strategy, but the positive part of composability is that your roadmap does not have to be cemented in stone. It can evolve as you grow. And next, something I've kind of touched on before, so tie it in with other projects. So if you're going for an upgrade, it's the perfect time to consider also moving to XM and then building out your stack from there. So an example of a project that we're doing at the moment is actually a client was wanting to upgrade to version 10 of Sitecore. So we took them from XP, are moving them to XM so that they can then in the future integrate personalization, CDP, other specific products for their needs. So those are our top tips. We're now going to move on to our Q&A section with Joe. So Jimmy, do you want to take the lead?
Those were great tips. Thank you for those.
You're welcome.
So, hey Joe, great to see you.
Hi.
So to get right into it, we wanted to know, what is XM Cloud, from the voice of a specialist?
So XM Cloud is a kind of cloud native offering from Sitecore. It's hosted by Sitecore, so you're not responsible for the management and looking after the back end of your system. The bits that you're in charge of is the delivery. So you're looking at the front end stuff. So it's all a headless system. So you're just looking at the front end delivery stuff while Sitecore manage the entirety of the back office. It's also quite lightweight in that it's taken out all of the heavyweight components that you can add in a composable way. So you're left with the basic CMS, some lightweight personalization tools, leaving you to deal with just that. And then as you need to or want to, you can add in further composable parts of Sitecore like send, CDP, personalize, etc. And that will allow you to pick and choose the composable bits that suit your business best at the time that you're moving to XM Cloud.
That was a great summary. And what do you know about the Experience Cloud, and specifically personalize? Personalize, sorry.
So personalize allows you to kind of interact with your users from multiple channels. It doesn't have to be just from within your Sitecore instance. You can do it from multiple channels. And once they get to your Sitecore website, you can draw on all of that information and push bits of content that are relative to particular people. So if there's a new user coming to your website and you want to direct them to a certain thing, you can tell from the data that's been collated about them that they're a new user, and you can show them different bits of content that you can say, right, well, now we want to get them to there. Once they've seen that, you can then do things like they have then achieved a goal, and then you can go back to the home page, and then because they've achieved that goal, you can then show them a slightly different piece of content to push them down a slightly different avenue. And you can do that through multiple different ways to maximize the best use of the users that you've got to make them enjoy the experience of your website as much as possible.
That does sound tempting. Okay, and final question. How is the big change to Composable? How big is the change to Composable?
Not very big. If you follow those points of kind of making it part and parcel of a larger upgrade, of saying you're on a previous content management system, be it Sitecore or an other one, moving to Composable is not a great leap. It's just part and parcel of moving to the next thing. It's the same as if you're part of Sitecore. No, it's just move. It would be the same as an upgrade to the next version. You're going to have to build it as you want it on the cloud instead of building as you want it on-prem. It's not that big a change, but it allows you that bit of flexibility of pick and choosing the bits you want, as opposed to having to have everything in place from the off.
Sounds great. Thank you for those insights.
No problem.
And to cap off this Q&A, we have one last question for Liv this time.
Hello.
So what is our process here at ClerksWell for analyzing a client's web stack and if it's fit for purpose?
Yeah, sure. So we are launching a Sitecore setup accelerator program, and what that basically means, if I cut through some of the marketing words, is that we're going to review your setup in the context of, as Joe said, in the context of a rebuild or an upgrade. Check what products you currently have, check the architecture that you have set up, talk to your stakeholders, do some requirements gathering, and basically deliver you a roadmap to move to Composable. We also speak to Sitecore in this process to make sure that what we're building, suggesting, is fit for purpose. So yeah, it's basically a 2 to 3 week discovery project. and we're kicking off with this kind of project in January. So it would be great to hear if anyone's interested in talking to us about this, and we'll set up a call.
Thank you for that. And this is the end for us. So we hope this webinar was informative and answered any questions we may have had. We always encourage feedback after the sessions and are happy to answer any further questions or discuss the strategy in more depth. So don't hesitate to email us at hello@clerkswell.com, and we hope to see you soon at future webinars. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.